I was 6 years old, standing in my grandparents' bedroom, my hands shaking, my little purse was gone. I could hear giggling, soft, cruel giggling, coming from somewhere above my head. Everyone told me to stop crying. Everyone, except my grandfather. And when he finally spoke, 2 bullies learned what fear really felt like. I was 6 years old, the kind of kid who felt things too deeply. If someone scraped their knee, my chest hurt. If someone cried, my throat tightened. Back then, we didn't call kids like me empaths. We called them soft. And soft kids got noticed. This happened during a family trip, a long vacation to my mother's home country. A tiny village. Dusty roads. Houses so close together that everyone knew everyone's business. It was my uncle's wedding, which meant the whole family had gathered under one roof, cousins, grandparents, noise, laughter, and unspoken hierarchies. For kids like me, it was freedom. Gen X childhood rules applied. Go play. Don't bother the adults. And I loved it. Both my grandfathers, maternal and paternal, did something my parents never did. They gave me money. Not much. But to a 6-year-old who had never received an allowance, it felt like a fortune. Every day, I'd walk through the village alone. Little convenience shops everywhere, cold drinks sweating behind glass, colorful snacks stacked like treasure. I explored. I bought treats. I felt important. Every few days, my grandfathers would casually check. You still have money? And I'd proudly show them. I felt trusted. 2 cousins decided that trust looked like weakness. One was 2 years older than me. The other, 5 years older. Old enough to know better. Old enough to know exactly who to target. They knew I didn't fight back. They knew I forgave too easily. They knew I cried. And that day, they decided to have fun with it. I was staying in my grandparents' house. I always left my little purse in their bedroom, closest room to the kitchen. That day was no different. Lunch finished. I walked back to grab my purse. The bed was empty. I checked under the blanket. Behind the pillow. On the chair. Nothing. Then I heard it. A faint sound. Soft. Mocking. Giggles. My chest tightened. My face burned. My eyes filled before I could stop them. I ran to my grandmother. My purse is gone. She barely looked up. Go play. My mother? Same reaction. Dismissive. Annoyed. As if my panic was an inconvenience. I felt small. Invisible. Like maybe I deserved it. Then my grandfather spoke. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't rush. He asked one simple question. Are you sure you left it there? I nodded. Hard. He walked with me into the bedroom. We both heard it. The giggling. He froze. Then his eyes lifted, slowly, toward the ceiling. A ladder. A small latch. Understanding hit him instantly. He looked up and spoke calmly. Who's up there? Silence. Then laughter. My cousins answered, proud, amused, explaining how easy it was to make me cry. Something in my grandfather shifted. His voice dropped. Deepened. You will stay there, he said. Until morning. They laughed again. So he removed the ladder. And locked the latch. The laughter stopped. The crying began. They screamed. They begged. It's dark. My grandfather didn't flinch. It's only as dark as your soul. That sentence carved itself into my memory forever. He turned to me. This isn't your shame, he said softly. Strength is not cruelty. He gave me more money. Keep it in your pocket. Then he said something that followed me into adulthood. Never show people like that your pain. Some people enjoy it. For the first time in my life, I felt protected. Justice. And snacks. I don't know how long they stayed in that attic. Because I left. Bought more snacks. And for the first time, I wasn't crying. The power had shifted. The cousins were silent for days after. Avoiding eye contact. Ashamed. Years later, decades later, I told the story at my grandfather's wake. They stared at me. They didn't remember. But I did. Because when you're finally seen, you never forget. Sometimes revenge doesn't come from anger. Sometimes it comes from protection. And sometimes, the strongest lesson you ever learn is that you were never weak. If this story hit you in the chest, tap like. Tell us in the comments who protected you when no one else did. And if you love emotionally powerful stories like this, subscribe to Story X Daily for more unforgettable moments.